How you can score 80% in your next exam while studying for just 2 days. If you have yet not subscribed, please subscribe and comment down below your study problems, and I will make a video on each and every of them. And if you have yet not followed me on Instagram, follow there because I post daily tips and tricks. One thing that you need to note is that it is not advisable to study just 2 days before exam or 1 day before exams, mainly if it's a finals. If by some chance you have forgotten that there is exam, or if you have very small 10 marks or 20 marks exam, this is more revisable. But if by chance that this is your finals, you can use these tips for studying in just 2 days, and I'm sure you will get at least 80% in your finals. So the first step is to use 80-20 rule. What is 80-20 rule is that mainly in your notes, in your syllabus, 80% marks will be dedicated to only 20% content. That is your 10 markers, your 20 markers, your 5 markers, which are asked from 3 to 4 chapters. That will fetch you 80% marks. So you have to make sure that you focus more upon that 5 markers, understand it better, and prepare it in such a way that when it is on the exams and when you have an option of not knowing something, you better not know a 2 marker than 5 marker. This will help you to gain some extra mark which you wouldn't have done otherwise. So focus on 80-20 rule, that is, do the 20% of the content of your study material better, best, know which is the 20% so that it can fetch you 80% marks in your next exam. 20% content will be the important topics that the teacher must have ticked, or maybe have told that this is important, tick that this may be asked in exam. All these things you have to make sure when you are attending your lectures, and mark these things in your notebook, in your textbook, write somewhere so that whenever you're preparing an exam, you have an idea what all things that can be asked. Second tip is to do last year question paper. Just ask your seniors or administrative department of your college or school where they keep last year question papers, and ask them to give you last 5-year question papers. And you should do it, not write it, but just go through it and see that you know each and every question in those 5 question paper last year's, because there is 80% chances that there will be a pattern that will be repeated. Some questions that are from particular chapter will be repeated and they will be asked in your exam too. The same pattern that can be repeated over and over again. Some important questions, some 1 marker, some things that are very important and cannot be changed from year to year, and that's asked in every exam. See through the pattern and prepare accordingly, and see to it that you know that each and every answer. There are 80% chances that those will be asked in your exam. If not, you will be preparing so much from those last 5 question papers that you can easily cover 60 to 70% of your syllabus. Third tip is to look at your past homework or any lecture notes that you have made. It is very silly, or you should never make notes or study guides or start studying from the scratch when there is only 2 days left for your exam. Instead, you have to revise. Ask your friends to give you some revision notes. Go on Quizlet and search your topics. Go on YouTube, and best of best, go to your notes or homework that you must have done in past and start reading those. Go to your textbook and start revising the most important topics that you think can be asked in the exam, or specifically the teacher must have pointed out. See to it that those all things you are studying it, you are knowing it, understanding it. Even if you don't know by heart, you can easily write it in exam. You have to study those topics because those are the topics that will be there in your exam. Just looking at your notes and your homework, or your friends' notes, you will be covering most part of the syllabus that you may not otherwise cover when you are reading a textbook, because in textbook there are so much broad information that you are given which may not be that much important for your exam. So see to it that you write notes, or at least have some idea what was taught in the class, so that you can refer somewhere else and read those things. The fourth tip is to talk with your friends. I have done this so many times that when I don't know what to study or what can be asked in the exam, just phone your friend and ask, hey, have you started preparing for the exam that is up to 2 days? What do you think could be asked in this exam? You can also give one or two your opinions that I think these two topics are very important and they can be asked in the exam. What do you think? They will open up to you and they will share their own thoughts on that. And when they must have studied, they have some idea of what can be asked. Generally, the answers are like, hey, I also think that there's other topics that can be asked, but I also think that these topics are very important. I talked to some seniors. These type of questions was asked in last year. These are the topics that teachers specifically told can be asked in the class. These are the things that you must have missed somewhere, and talking with 2 or 3 fellow students or your friends or some topper can give you so much insights on what you can study. Write all those things down and focus on them. Those topics that your friends have recommended, their topper have recommended, and ask others. This will help you to actually study the important material, and even though you are not reading the whole textbook, whole syllabus, you can have some gist. Fifth tip is to know each and every chapter. The main problem that students do when they study for exam before 1 day or 2 days is that they only cover important topics, important chapters. That is important, yes, but you should not leave any chapter untouched, because there is 100% probability that all the chapters may come. You don't know that which chapter will come, which chapter will not come, and you should never ever leave a question blank which will not gain you any marks. You must know the gist of the chapter, or just the gist of the topic. What you should do is that all the important topics should be done first. You should at least see the summary of the chapters that is given at the end of the chapter, or go to YouTube, just watch the video what's there in this topic, and have some gist on the little chapters. Even if it's not much relevant, at least write something in your answer sheet if the question is asked. There are chances that your professor may give you 1 or 2 marks if you have written something instead of a big 0 when you have written nothing. This 2 to 2 marks, when added up, will be a big chunk of your marks. Otherwise, you wouldn't get when you have not read anything. So don't leave any chapter untouched. Read everything, but focus more on the important topics, and other topics or chapters, just give a half an hour, go through over them and read the summary. These are my top tips that you should do when you have just 2 days before exam and you have not even touched your book. I recommend not to do this, but there are some situations when you are forced to do that. So use these tips and see to it that you earn as much marks as you can by using these tips, as well as giving exams and focusing more. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you liked it.